back to Thanks I'll Take It From Here, the podcast where we deep dive into TV, film, and books, and break down the stories that made us feel something. Whether it's rage, sadness, shock, or all three at once, we're unpacking it all. This week we're covering The Summer I Turned Pretty Season 3, Episode 6, and y'all, it was messy, chaotic, and a little unhinged. From Adam Fisher being the worst landlord-dad hybrid alive, to Belly questioning if she even wants this wedding, to Conrad's sad little Bob the Builder era. We need to talk about it, so let's get into it. Last week's episode gave us Conrad's point of view and ended with him stepping aside for Belly and Jeremiah's happily ever after. This week, not so simple. The episode starts 2 weeks later. Belly and Jer are still crashing at Adam's place in Boston, waking up on an air mattress like two broke college kids. Adam's not exactly thrilled to find Belly there, complaining about her hair in the drain and messing with his coffee machine. It's clear he wants Belly out. My question is, why does Adam not have a 2 or 3 bedroom apartment for his kids? I understand he had to sell the Boston house that he had so that they could keep the cousin house, but didn't he say he was worried about losing Jeremiah like he lost Conrad? If he truly felt that way, that he was losing his kids, why would he not make the effort to have a place that could actually accommodate both of his kids? Belly suggests Jared take a day off to apartment hunt, and Adam's totally fine with that because he wants Belly out as soon as possible. So he tells Jared, you know what, take the day, do what y'all gotta do, and then Belly could hightail it back to cousins. This is an Adam Fisher hate account, but I would be annoyed by Belly too if I was Adam. If someone who wasn't paying rent was clogging up my shower drain and messing with my coffee machine and leaving a mess, they could hit the road too. But do y'all remember when Adam was upset about the coffee machine not working like it normally does, and Jeremiah said Belly programmed it so it would prepare coffee for Adam in the morning when he woke up? This might be a hot take, but I don't believe that. Let's be all the way for real. Jeremiah is the only one in that house seeking Adam Fisher's approval. Cause Belly dated Conrad. She knows Adam is basura, trash, garbage. I could see Jeremiah actually being the one who messed with the machine. We then get a montage of them apartment hunting. The realtor's reaction was so funny in this scene. He was genuinely perplexed that Jeremiah asked him that dumb question about if missed payments impact your credit score. All I could think was, sir, how are you getting married and getting an apartment and you don't know how credit scores work? But you can mansplain a chocolate cake though. And I hate to bring the ring up again, but he was literally willing to open a line of credit to get tickets for a game, but not the ring of the supposed love of his life. I hope this love never finds you. Now back in Cousins, Belly finds Conrad doing house projects like Bob the Builder, and does he not have friends and cousins to hang out with? Cause it's kind of sad watching him around the house depressed with his ex. I hope Agnes flies in for the wedding cause Conrad needs a real friend around. Conrad tells Belly he made her lunch, which she doesn't eat, and he asks if Laurel changed her mind about coming to the wedding, and Belly says no. Oh, I forgot. Before she talks to Conrad, Belly goes to tour the country club and go over the wedding details at the venue. At the club, we actually get a cameo of showrunner and book creator Jenny Han, who has had 3 cameo moments so far this season. The other 2 was the cat meowing in Steven's game. She's the voice of the cat, and then the second was the crossword puzzle in episode 5 that referenced a book written by her. I'll talk about some more Easter eggs later on in the episode, so if you are into that kind of thing, make sure to follow my Instagram and TikTok at Take It From Here Pod so you can get those Easter eggs in real time. But anyway, Belly gets overwhelmed by the wedding planning and calls Jeremiah and says she's having second thoughts about what they're doing. And before she can elaborate that she meant about having a whole big wedding, Jeremiah's face was giving full-on panic. I just know he has PTSD from when Belly chose Conrad over him him the last time, and I think he's constantly afraid Belly will realize what they both don't say out loud, and that's that they should have just stayed friends. But I totally get how Belly feels about the wedding being overwhelming and big. I mean, her wedding has literally been hijacked by Adam, and I truly cannot stand that man. I really hope they do a prequel about Laurel and Susanna so we could see why she chose to marry that man in the first place. I'm secretly hoping it was to take all of his money or expose him for being a fraud, which brings me to my biggest The Summer I Turned Pretty conspiracy and a potential spinoff. So my conspiracy is that Adam is a scam artist, and here's why. He runs a finance firm that missed a major red flag twice. I'm talking about the gaming company that lied about their profits, that accounting somehow missed twice. Somehow no one on Adam's team caught it until Jeremiah flagged it. That's not just sloppy, that's convenient and can be a benefit to Adam. And here's why. If companies inflate their numbers and Adam's firm still pushes the deal through, it makes his client list look more impressive and diverse. It boosts his reputation, helps him land more business, and maybe even lines his pockets if he's getting kickbacks or has personal ties. Whether he's directly involved or not, he's built a system that lets shady deals slide, and that's exactly how you run a scam without getting your hands dirty. Now, this deal isn't the only reason why I think he's a scammer. Later in the episode, when they are at the suit shop, there's a moment where Adam briefly talks about how he used to BS to get his clients earlier in his career. The example he brings up is the time he got his first custom suit to impress clients. I'm guessing he was doing a whole fake it till you make it thing, which by itself is fine, but when Jeremiah casually asks, "What's the craziest thing you've ever done to land a client?" and Adam immediately changes the subject, that felt suspicious to me and makes the accounting error even more suspicious. But honestly, Adam being shady opens the door for a great spin-off series centered around Jeremiah and a potential redemption arc. So thanks, Jenny Han, but I'll take it from here. Now, if I were to do a spin-off, the show would start with Jeremiah after learning about his father's affair and possibly discovering that his dad was embezzling or involved in fraud. Jeremiah would be forced to grow up fast. The series could follow him as he takes over the company, determined to be a better man than his father, both professionally and personally. This would be a chance to explore how Jeremiah learns from his past mistakes and grows into someone worthy of real love and responsibility. We've seen Conrad's emotional evolution. This series would be Jeremiah's turn. There have been some leaks, not sure if they're true, that Jeremiah ends up with Denise. If that's the case, their relationship could definitely be explored in this series too, but I still think he's gonna end up with Redbird. We know he likes to date his friends, and Denise is definitely not that. But that's enough of my pitch. Let's get back to the breakdown. At the office, Jeremiah witnesses his dad and Kaylee flirting, and then they make plans to shop for suits and dinner with Conrad. And it's Jeremiah's day, so naturally, Kaylee picks a restaurant he would love, which is instantly vetoed by Adam, because he thinks somehow picking food Conrad likes will make Conrad like him again, which I'm not saying that would work on me, but I would be very forgiven if someone gave me a yacht and ended world hunger. Just saying. But something tells me Conrad is definitely not going to magically get close with Adam because of an expensive piece of steak. We have to talk about the Conrad and Laurel scene. If you're new here, listeners from last week knew this was coming because it was in my episode predictions for episode 6. Be sure to subscribe so you can have the tea too. I put the predictions at the end of the episode, so if you want to avoid spoilers, you can skip past that part. But in the scene between Laurel and Conrad, I had two thoughts. One is, how come John, the literal father of her children, Taylor, her daughter's best friend, and even Belly, her actual child, couldn't convince Laurel to participate in this wedding, but Conrad could? And that's no shade to Conrad, but I think it speaks volumes to whose opinion Laurel values. And then the second thing I thought about watching this scene was Laurel clearly knows and sees Conrad is still very much in love with her daughter. And I'm just like, why is she not telling Conrad, you and your brother should probably literally date anyone else because this is messy? Like, if I was Belly's mom, I tell my daughter, both these boys love you and it's best not to get involved. You could send them a postcard from Paris though. That diner scene really gave us a lot. One is that sweet moment of Laurel asking, when will Conrad be happy? He really does deserve to be happy. He's had such a rough couple years. Another gem was Laurel finding out Conrad and Belly knew about the affair with Adam and Kaylee this whole time. It would be interesting if Jeremiah overhears Belly and Laurel talking about the affair, and that's how he finds out. It would be very similar to how he found out about his mom having cancer in season 1. After the Laurel and Conrad scene, we get to Steven's apartment, and Denise pitches a business proposal to Steven that combines both their interests, which I'm totally here for it, but if they do go through with it, they probably shouldn't date. But that's just my opinion. After Denise and Steven talk, he drives from Boston to Philly for the bridal shower. I feel like this show doesn't do a good job saying where everything is, so I will try to make this clear at least on the podcast. At the bridal shower, we see Belly enter Taylor's house, and here's another Easter egg some may have missed. Belly was wearing the pearl necklace Susanna gave her for her 16th birthday in season 1. I'm not gonna lie, I was really curious who was about to be pulling up at this bridal shower because I thought Taylor and Annika were Belly's only friends. But shockingly, she does have other friends that actually showed up to this party. We see some of her volleyball friends, not sure if they're from high school or college, because I don't know how long she played volleyball in college because she got that injury, remember? So I don't know if she was able to get close to the volleyball team, but regardless, some of her volleyball friends are here. We also see her neighbor and her college roommate Annika, then a bunch of randos, and Taylor's mom dressed as a giant toddler. Can we just keep in mind that Taylor's mom owns a salon, yet her hair was giving preschooler? I really think she and Adam should date since they both suck as parents, though maybe Lucinda isn't that bad. Maybe I should have wished that love on her. But I'm not going to spend any more time on Lucinda because she's already getting too much screen time. And because we also have to talk about Laurel. So Laurel shows up with lemon squares and a gift card for airfare, which I'll talk about in the spoiler section of the show later. And Laurel says the gift card is for their honeymoon and that she understands why Belly doesn't want to go to Paris now. Which, why is Laurel suddenly okay with Belly canceling her Paris trip for a boy? This is not the Laurel from like 3 episodes ago, but okay. Gift cards aren't the only thing Belly gets at her bridal shower. The most notable one to me was the stationery from her neighbor that says Isabel Fisher, which, lucky for Belly, they won't go to waste if she spins the block with Conrad. She probably wasn't thinking about that when she saw the name, but Belly is really delulu, so you never know. I mean, she replaced a whole memory of Conrad with Jeremiah at this same party. And let's get into that because it's actually a really important plot point, and here's why. Remember in season 2 when Belly said, "I release you, Conrad Fisher. I evict you from my heart." That was her big emotional declaration, her moment of control. She was choosing Jeremiah and closing the door on Conrad. At least that's what she wanted to believe. But evicting someone from your heart isn't the same thing as healing. Belly realizing she can't trust her memory cracks the illusion Belly has built around Jeremiah. It shows Belly that she's been projecting who she wants Jeremiah to be versus who he actually is. She says that moment with Rosie was the sweetest thing she's ever seen. It stayed with her for years, which means she associates that kind of warmth and softness with Conrad until it wasn't in her interest to do so. Belly might be trying to force a new story now, one where Jeremiah is the better version of Conrad, or at least his equal, but memory doesn't lie, and when the story unravels, so does the illusion. The whole idea that Jeremiah was the better better choice is how she convinced herself to move on from Conrad. But it's simply not the reality. This is why the surf scene is so significant now, because this is Belly after the illusion has shattered. She's finally dropped the shield she built around her heart to keep Conrad out. And whether she's ready or not, he's already back in. Now, before we get into my predictions and some spoilers, let's talk about two scenes that pissed me off. When Jeremiah and Conrad are driving to the restaurant, they have some of the craziest dialogue from this season. One is Jeremiah trying to set Conrad up with Annika and calling her hot. And let's unpack that for a minute, because do y'all realize he's encouraging Conrad to hook up with his ex's friend? Do y'all think it's okay to hook up with the close friend of your ex? Because I think maybe that's not the best thing to do. Then we get Adam try to soft launch his side piece of 5 years, and Conrad's reaction was so funny. He really kept his foot on Adam's neck with all those questions about when their relationship started. The whole restaurant scene really showed how Conrad is Adam's golden child who can do no wrong. Because when Conrad tells his dad about getting fired and taking time for himself, Adam says that's fine. And you know, if that was Jeremiah, Adam would have definitely said something crazy like, "I'm not surprised you're failing. It's what you're good at." Now, people said they noticed Jeremiah smirking when Conrad said he was fired, and I must be blind because I didn't see that. But if he did, it makes sense. He's probably thinking, wow, not Conrad having another secret. Or maybe he's thinking, oh, now it's time for Adam to yell at the golden child and not me. But I don't know. I don't know what the smirk was. I'm curious what you guys think it was. Also, wait till Jeremiah finds out Belly knew that Conrad was fired this entire time and didn't tell him. Conrad and Belly now have like 3 secrets they've been keeping from Jeremiah. The Christmas at Cousins 2.0, Adam's affair, and then this firing. If I was Jeremiah and all of that came out, I would be kind of annoyed. Like, stop protecting me. I'm not a child. All right, so now I'm going to get into my predictions. So if you don't want any spoilers, this is your cue to bounce. Thanks so much for listening. Be sure to follow me on Instagram and TikTok at Take It From Here Pod, and subscribe to the podcast so you don't miss my weekly breakdowns. Okay, for those of you who are like, I want to know everything, let's get into it. Here's what I think we could see in episode 7 through 9. So let's keep in mind, at the start of episode 6, I think about 3 or 4 weeks have passed since Belly said they had 6 weeks until the wedding. That means we probably got about 2 or 3 weeks left before the big day. And here's my theory. I think episode 10 is the actual wedding, and episode 11 is the fallout. I think episode 7 through 9, that's our build-up. That's where everything starts boiling over, tensions rising, secrets are simmering, and we're officially on the countdown to chaos. That means we're coming up on things like the bachelor and bachelorette parties, the wedding rehearsal, and a lot of secrets dropping. For episode 7, I think we'll see Jeremiah at the golf course with his dad and his dad's friends and business partners. I think the scene is going to be super awkward, and we're going to be given more reasons to hate Adam, as if we need any more. And Belly isn't going to be happy about Jeremiah choosing Adam over helping her with the wedding yet again. I think Belly's frustration with the wedding planning is really going to start to boil over, and we'll continue to see her spiral over it. And I think she's going to have a dream about Conrad and feel really guilty about it after. We will, of course, get more Denise, Steven, and Taylor drama too. I really think if they don't wrap up that storyline by the end of the season, it's because they're getting a spinoff. So the bachelor party episode, it's going to be pretty wild. Jeremiah is definitely going to keep pushing the Annika and Conrad hookup thing. We'll likely see Redbird again, and for those who don't know, a lot of people think Redbird is Jeremiah's endgame, and I guess I can kind of see that too. Also, Conrad will learn about the Cabo thing. My guess is Redbird is going to say something about it at Jeremiah's bachelor party weekend, so prepare for Conrad to go off on Jeremiah. I also think Jeremiah will learn about his dad's affair soon, maybe like episode 7 or 8. Episode 9 might be our rehearsal dinner episode. Weddings usually have rehearsal dinners like 1 or 2 days before the big day. And if episode 10 is the wedding, then it might make sense to have the rehearsal be episode 9, though they could squeeze it at the beginning of episode 10 as well. Now, speaking of episode 10, I think that's when we'll finally get Susanna's letters. For anyone who hasn't read the book, Susanna writes wedding day letters for both brothers and for Belly, but at some point, Laurel accidentally knocks over the tray and the letters get mixed up. Honestly, I can't remember if that exact detail happened in the books or the show, but the mix-up itself definitely did happen. In the books on Jeremiah's wedding day, he opens what he thinks is his letter, but it's actually Conrad's. And in it, Susanna admits she's only ever saw Conrad truly happy when he's with Belly. That discovery leads to a huge showdown between the brothers, and the wedding gets called off. So that's what happens in the book. If the show sticks close to the book, episode 10 feels like kind of the moment for all of that to happen. And then my last prediction is about Paris. Remember that gift card Belly's mom gave to her for their honeymoon at the bridal shower? I think Belly's going to end up using it to go to Paris, but solo. And we kind of know Paris is coming because it's already been confirmed that the actors who play Belly, Conrad, and Jeremiah were spotted filming there. Now, obviously, all of this is just theories and predictions based on the books and the show, so nothing's guaranteed, but as always, I'll keep updating and adjusting my theories as each new episode drops. And that's it for this week's breakdown and predictions. If you made it this far, you're a real one. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram and TikTok at Take It From Here Pod for Easter eggs and theories and fun memes for the show. And subscribe to the podcast so you don't miss next week's recap. Until then, remember, if a man is willing to open a line of credit for tickets to a game, but not to get a non-microscopic ring for your engagement ring, he's not the one for you, boo. Bye!